Helo, fe enw I yw Lori Morgan a chroeso anferthol I bodlediad Te a Trails.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast. I felt a bit naughty asking Lowry to do an intro, and it's the first time we've done that. I remember years ago we asked Tom Evans to do a little shout out for Robbo ahead of our Bob Graham round.
As you were asking, I thought we never do this. We are such giving people. We never ask for stuff. And then I thought we should ask.
We should ask. Yeah.
Like we never do the pictures when they come on. Thing is, it's always your high nervous stakes, Gary.
Do I project? Am I that nervous?
I'm just trying to keep you down. Like when you're like, and I'm like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And then once we get into it, you're fine. You just get nervous, don't you?
Every time I get nervous because I care, as Russell
It's because you care and because you're working with me. Loose cannon.
Lowry was such a good sport, though. And what a great guest. Yeah, don't forget to tune in when that episode
When does that episode go out?
Well, it's confused a few people.
When are you putting the guest one out? We're going to have a set day, or is it just going to go when you...
Unless my weekend goes to pot, the guest episode will be out on Mondays.
I like that. So Saturday, people can listen on their long runs or driving or sitting in their cars, and then they'll think, and it's still long, don't worry, guys. It's definitely long enough for long runs. Oh, don't worry, we can make it longer. Gary is always looking at ways to cut me down. Just a little bit less talking, Eddie. And then you get the guest as a separate. Gary won't let me add any twittering onto the guest one, but if you want extra twittering, just say.
No.
No, he won't let me, you see? I'm like, we could have a little chat about something. He's like, no, mute her.
Nope.
Mute.
Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com. Kudos, high five, big hugs and sloppy kisses to our patrons and everyone who has joined Patreon over the last week. For the price of a cuppa, you can help keep the lights hot and the mics on and save big time on all your trail running essentials. Loads of brands offering great discounts over at Patreon. There are too many to read out. It's official. Don't forget, if you'd like. Well, we did the redo last week, and I thought, you know what? Unfortunately,
are we done?
I don't think we can do that again.
We used to do it every week, didn't we? People used to know the list off by heart. We come a long way.
Well, there is a Patreon page over on the teaandtrails.com website. It's not completely up to date. I'm updating it as we speak. So yeah, if you're unsure who these patrons are, discounts and stuff like that, it's all over there at teaandtrails.com. But yeah, don't forget, if you'd like a snood or a bubble hat, then you need to add your address to Patreon. No address and no goodies.
No goodies. When we go to the Tea and Trails Ultra, will there be like a kissing booth? If you're a patron, you get to go in and you just a
quid for me, 20p for you. Yep.
Free for me. Thanks to X Miles, Precision Pool Hydration, Harrier Trail Running, Phoenix Light UK, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring our show. X Miles is a family-owned, independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel, and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. X Miles offers a wide range of high-quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners, and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goal. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place to find everything you need to succeed. I think if you're listening to this now, you've missed the boat, Gary. I'm sorry. Have you got your ticket?
Sad times. I'm not going. Can't go.
I would love that. I would just take that stage and I would own it. I was imagining, Gary, in my head the other day. I was like, what would stop one of us going? Like a family emergency.
Anything.
That would be like anything would stop you going. Or like COVID, where you couldn't really go and spread... My finger hurts. And I was like, would I be able to do it on my own? And then I was like, hell yeah. So this is my third song I've prepared. This one is more, no, I'm joking. If you're listening to this now, entries are closed, you didn't burn entry. We're sorry. But we are going to have time. You're dead to us. Anyway, we're so looking forward to seeing all of you. We're sorry for those that can't come. We've had a few emails. Sad people not able to come, or perhaps you've got a little bit of niggle and you're not able to do the run. But if you are coming, we can't wait to welcome you via the kissing booth to our Tea and Trails
Glory
Ultra
hole.
Weekend.
You don't know what that is.
Oh God, I've gone red and a bit sweaty. We're also super happy. We'll be sporting them. Yugoku projects. Gary's got his answer today. No, you can't. You can't laugh through the sponsors.
I've gone red. Oh, God. I'm just going to Google what glory is. Glory.
Oh my God, you cannot put that on your Google search. We have a family history Google search. The kids will be going, Mom, why did you Google that?
Oh, my God. Often between public toilet cubicles, public shower cubicles.
Oh, it's so, have you, I know what it is.
Arcade booths, sex booths. Oh, my goodness me.
Have you seen the latest series of Clarkson's Farm?
Oh, God, we haven't got Amazon. It's killing me.
Oh, you don't have Prime on Amazon?
No, I made an editorial decision not to renew my Amazon membership.
Prime. Isn't it like, don't you? Okay. Okay, good. Excellent. Well done. Well, you don't get to watch it, but there's some glory holes in the new pub that he built. Right, come on. Yugoku projects. Love the caps. We love the caps. They're going to be at the Tea and Trails Ultra, aren't they? You might snap up one of those. I think it's limited edition. They only made 5. They've gone. Anyway, don't forget patrons can receive 20% off those. If you want any details on the event, you're coming to the event, not sure, start time, places, what do I need? What do I need to bring? Just jump into Gary's DMs. He loves messages. Pop over to www. What is it?
teaandtrailsultra.com.
Oh my gosh, Gary. I stacked that week that by Sunday night, let's just say I was in bed by 5:30 p.m. I was cooked, in the words of the kids.
And you slept through?
No, so such a foolish virgin decision. I was so tired, Gary. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was done. I was like, I'm just going to go to bed. Otherwise, I'm going to go to sleep on the sofa. So I went up, went straight to sleep. And then as everybody else was coming up to bed at like 9:10, I was awake, ready. I had to come. So what I do if that happens, anyone else is a bit of a bad sleeper, I come downstairs and have a breakfast. I came down, I had a bowl of my no added sugar Alpen, cup of decaffeinated tea, I watched a little bit of TV,
oh my God.
and then I reset, and then I went back up to bed. But it meant I didn't go back to sleep till about midnight. My ring was not happy come Monday morning. Oh my God. It was so angry with me. It was like, it's okay to rest. You could rest today. I was like, I don't have time to. Don't give me that idea.
What is TV after 11 o'clock at night? I've got no idea what happens after 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, I don't. It's not normal TV. It's episode 344 of Married. What is it? Married
at First
I can't
Sight.
remember what it's called.
Quality.
I'm still ploughing on.
BAFTA award-winning TV.
Oh, it's so deep and me, a real connection I have. Anyway, I had a good week, but it did end up, that is how it ended. So we can rewind if you like, and I can tell you all the deets. I got 2 long runs in, aka Gary Thwaites training strategy.
Boom.
We had we had birthday at the weekend, and the birthday was actually on the weekend as well as the party. And so I knew that day, and plus sporting fixtures, I knew that day was going to be mad, and I wanted to be there and present all day. Also, I had to do everything, obviously. Make the cakes, make the tea, do the party, blah, blah, blah. I can't have any training that evening to do because I have a lot of coaching work anyway to do. So I've got to have everything done by Sunday 8 a.m. when the birthday girl awakes and be ready. So that meant I had to do pretty much the 5 days of the week. I think I got to like 70 miles by Friday lunchtime.
Wow.
I was like, oh God, one more run to go and I can rest. I had to cram. And there's a big difference if you try and do your weekly sessions training in 5 days rather than 7. I'm not compromising though. Oh no, I hear you all shout, Eddie, you could rest, you could do less. I will not stray. I will keep ticking off. So I did 2, 1 long run, 1 like medium. No, still really long. 3.5 hours and a 2.5 hours.
Yeah, all cool. Well,
I am, in the words of Gary Thwaites, leaning heavily on that flow gel. When you've got the school run to do and you've got to fit in your long run, then you've got to come back and work. If you work from home or you like flexi work like I can, there's no time to make delicious sandwiches and snacks and, I don't use sports products. That is when I lean on sports products because as I'm shouting, don't forget your tennis racket, don't forget your spelling book, I can just get that flow gel. Though I do think, oh my God, so much money for a 300
I would have had a stroop waffle, not a floor gel.
I have the stroop waffle ready. That's like mid-run. And then the flow gel goes into the bottles. The mental load is so low as well because I just have to take that bottle out, shove it in my mouth and suck it. Use that for your reel. So So I went through 2 packets of flow gel in a week. That can't be good. But it was so good for my long runs. First long run, I felt great. I was like, I'm working on keeping my heart rate as low as I can while running. Trying to bring that heart rate down as I'm running to be like, is this like, keep it low zone 2, all day running pace, but keep moving. So I'm trying to like get the point of like, you know, if you want to be competitive in these 200-mile races, you've got to be moving, but you've got to be on that line of like, you can't go harder. So I'm trying to like find the feeling of that, of like not running these long runs like I would just like, come on, get out.
Have you done any data? I've got this phenomenal spreadsheet for the Lakeland 100 from 2024's data. Have you got any data from, say, Spine Race, Northern Traverse, so you can gauge if people are running that last 30%? Even at the sharp end.
What, the last 30% of the race?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in what anyone else is doing. I'm only interested in what I'm doing.
Well, I'm just kind of curious, is it physically possible?
Oh, yeah. I ran, not the Spine. That was definitely not... Oh, God. But the Northern Traverse, I think my best running was in the last 10K. That's because we were having hallucinations and we thought Leanne was catching us up and they kept saying, she's there, she's there. We were like pegging across. Anyway, no, that's a good point and it's a good idea to do. So I've been working on like trying to get that feel, but also trying to be like with the pack on as well. It's quite heavy and working. Like, it's just interesting for me, like to give a bit of purpose to long runs as well, to be like, who's running, who's hiking? And if I am hiking, am I moving? You just had to watch Lucy Gossage do that South Downs Way 100 if you watched any of that feed. And when she's hiking uphill, she is still going gap pace of 10-minute mile. So I'm trying to really work on that moving pace and that long run. It was really humid. I had a terrible short situation. I wore my cycling shorts that aren't like brushed cotton. They're North Face ones. They've got more lycra in them. They're like a black school swimming costume material. And then when they get sweat, they were so disgusting and sweaty. And I stopped to go for a pee and I could hardly pull them up, Gary. They were like wet. Like it's not wet with wee. It's just wet with like the humidity. It was so bad. And I still had like 12 miles to go. Gave Bryn proof of life on my wee spot. And I was like, my shorts are like wet through. He's working from home. I thought he'd go, oh, Papa, bring your fresh pair. Don't you worry about that chaffing. He was just replied with, ugh. And that was it then. Silence. I'm fine, thanks. Anyway, I got the worst inner bejugal chaffing, Gary, because, oh God, it was awful. And I could feel it. And then when I got home,
do you like lube up though? What are you sticking on it?
Yeah, ladies do lube up down below, but I don't know what you'd have done with this because this was pure, it was awful.
Carnage.
Those shorts are not coming out in humidity. We live at the shower afterwards was anyway.
I think I'm super lucky. That's never been a problem for me. Oh, I get a little bit of friction off a race vest on my neck, but you're fighting the nausea.
The chaffing first. I've almost solved the chaffing problem. That was fine. For the rest of the day, I'm walking around like John Wayne going. So when I go and collect the kids from school, I'm like, please be ready out the gate so I don't have to get out of the car and walk like John Wayne. And I had to wear my really comfy tracksuit bottoms that makes me look like Kevin the teenager. I was like, oh no, please don't. I can't get out of the car and people see me in these. So they look like my pajamas. Anyway, good 2 long runs. I still feel really slow, Gary. So I was saying to you earlier, I've done my heat training now. I know how to heat train. It started off an experiment when Lucy Gossage won the Spine and she said to me, I did some sauna work. I've worked through my sauna. I've worked through heat training. I know how to do it. I've helped some athletes that had to heat train who are doing really hot races. I know how to help them on the protocol, what works, what doesn't. And also a few athletes as well have used it of mine who have been injured or have just needed something. They've just wanted to have a go and see what it's like. So I've really enjoyed helping them. I now really get how to help them, what works, what doesn't. But I want to spend some more time now focusing on running sessions, focusing on volume. And so I'm going to back off the heat training now. You can jump back into the heat training, especially now I've done it so much. I really know how to get those benefits quite quickly. I will probably do another little block, 2 weeks maybe from race course. I'm going to see. But I felt that, I was like, right, when I'd look at my plan and I thought, what have I got coming up? And I thought, actually, I want to be able to get a really good, longer workout in over the next few weeks, plus longer runs, plus hit my highest volume. Something's going to go.
Well, that's it. Something has to give. We've said if you're doing 2 back-to-back, or if you're doing 2 long runs and a session, there's 3. If you're doing a couple of heat trains, there's 5 grafty days.
Yeah. And I felt like, I've done it now. I've been to Costa Rica.
Would you want to do that all year long? Goodness me.
I do love it, Gary. No, you wouldn't want to do it all yet. So I tried out a new hill for hill training. I found a hill that takes me 20 minutes to get up, Gary. That is a grind.
Can you run it?
Road. Yeah, you can run the whole thing. There's bits when you're like, oh, but it's good. It's loads of different gradients. So I set the thing from the road to the post at the top. I think I was 19 minutes 37. And then you can run down the other side.
Yeah.
And then I came back up again. That was about 60 minutes. So I did 2 of those. Zone 3, high end zone 3 by the time I was, and then I was like, I've got one more option, one more path off this hill to do the third option. I was like, don't cook, that's probably enough of a workout this week. The next day I took the kids to school and came back and the car wasn't there, and I was like, where's he gone? Aha, he's gone to the hill. Excellent. To see how fast he can run up the hill. He came back, I was like, oh, did you find the hill? He's like, yeah. I said, do you run all the way? And he was like, yeah, it was fine. He said, I'll run on a bit then. And I was like, oh, better get back.
Some press ups, star jumps at the top.
Yeah, it's probably. I did it 4 times. I did think, then you start. Do you do this? I start creating, going, I could do that. Could I do that 8 times? If I did that 8 times, that'd be like a 20-mile, 4,000 feet session of just like up and down.
A hill with multiple ways up, like Arthur Seat Sim.
Isn't that the best?
With the time with Esme in Scotland. You could just go and do that 3 or 4 times, every little option.
Do you know how many people I saw on this hill, Gary?
0.
There was not one, even passing by to hear me. I listen to, obviously, I have got music on or a podcast. I hardly ever listen to my own thoughts. And I did turn it off to listen to my own thoughts. And all I could hear was, I was like, God, this is why I don't, because you breathing like, I can't even describe it. So yeah, it was a full on week trying to fit it all in, strength, but we got there. We had a great birthday weekend. We had so much cake. We've still got leftover cake.
What kind of cake?
Well, we had 2 requests. We had chocolate cake, standard,
yep,
and then red velvet cake.
Did you make it or did you buy it?
No. So the chocolate cake, fine, done, easy. So we just went for some Sainsbury's cupcakes for that. But I bought so many thinking how much like small girls eat. But of course they don't eat. Also, they don't eat as much as I think that our family eats. And so, this
is why I ended up having cake for breakfast on Thursday, because like, I've just got to get rid of this cake.
No, cake for breakfast. I love it. Yeah, but I pushed the limits of my rings endurance every day. It was going,
Eddie, you got to stop.
HRV. My HRV, no, but it makes me laugh. My HRV was so low and my resting heart rate was so high. But I was like, well, what do you do? Do you listen to this and rest? But actually, when I'm running, I feel totally fine. I did a good hill workout. I did 2 runs. I did my strength work. I'm still functioning. I'm just by 6 o'clock in the evening, a dead human. And that's when I don't function. You
quite often call me off on a rest day. I think the only rest day I've had in 2025 was because everything was saying, take a day off, Gary.
Have you only had one rest day in 2025?
That I can remember.
Don't feel so bad then about not listening to my metrics. But apart from a bit of unladylike chaffing, it was quite a good week. I'm proud of myself for ticking it all off. I always berate myself for not doing enough. I need to do more. I need to do more. But when do you do more? I can't. I can't.
How much can you do? That's the big question, isn't it? Like, how much do you actually need to do? We see so many athletes and varying approaches to training. You know, Robbo, last year, Lakeland 100, I think he probably, apologies, Neil, if I'm getting this wrong, I'm sure he's like about 50 odd miles, 60 miles a week. I did so much more volume than Robbo. He absolutely schooled me that day.
Anyway, well done. We should have a moment to just recognise the Swaledale Marathon.
People are still talking about it.
People they haven't stopped, Gary. Where's your mug?
It looks exactly the same as the old County Tops mug, to be honest, apart from it's got a... You know, I did all these recce's. I did this.
Oh, yeah, we all know.
When you're coming off the trail and you go down to Gunnerside and you kind of slice through some walls. Luckily, it was misty, so luckily there's somebody there just to prompt me. Otherwise, I was going to just keep on carrying on merrily down the trail. But when I did realise, this is where we go, it was the best I've ever done. If anybody saw it, that would have went down in
would it?
folklore
Yes.
history.
If you put it to some Hans Zimmer piano music and you running down.
Exactly, yeah. Like Interstellar.
Yeah.
But this is, if you do know the course. So I went in into this part of the race. I'm getting well ahead of myself, but I went to this part of the race behind these two guys, and I basically like came out of it right on their heels. You know when you see a pit stop on Formula One and the car comes out and then the other car's right on their heels? That was exactly it. It was absolute. It was beautiful, Eddie. I will rewind a bit. The actual workout of the week, like I always do, I ignored. The plan was for a lot less than this actually, because I think I mentioned it was a bit of a down week, but I have this psychological
What
barrier.
is it you have to tick now?
I need to at least do 20 minutes of effort in a workout, so I just pushed it up to 7 times 3 minutes.
I agree with that. I would say we rarely agree on our training, but I would agree that 20 minutes.
Excellent. That's going.
I have a question though about that 20 minutes. So what did you do? 7 times
3 minutes.
3 minutes. When you do that though,
Yes.
so that's 21 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not spending 21 minutes in low zone 4 because you can't get into low zone 4 if you're just doing 3 minutes.
Well, you can, because you can get there and then you reduce the speed.
But it takes you about a minute.
But then on the flip side, it doesn't take me a minute to get out of it. But on the flip side, you stay in zone 4 for probably about 30 seconds.
So that's exactly, that's the bit I enjoy the most when I do these shorter ones. So I did a short one yesterday and I was like, it's taken me so long to get that heart rate up. Then when it gets up, it hangs there. I can hang it there. But then I just get off and stand on the side of the treadmill if it's just a minute recovery.
Yeah.
And then it stays there and I'm like...
Freebie, yeah.
Freebie!
But it's wild. So psychologically, I thought it was quite hard to get into zone 4. And I think that is obviously I'm taking some tiredness into that workout. But then you flip it to race day, and I was operating at a higher level for over 3 hours, not for the whole 3 hours.
It's madness, isn't it? It is
Easy
madness.
peasy.
I can race 3 to 4 hours at high end zone 3, but running 10 minutes in it like I did yesterday, I was like, oh my God.
It's absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So it's Swaledale, one thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of negativity in how I'm perceiving the day, but it's given me a lot of confidence going ahead into future road marathons and hopefully the Lakeland 100. Have you ever watched Vikings on Netflix?
I would love to, because I've seen the pictures of the Vikings.
Google
they look
Ragnar.
like my kind of guys, Gary.
Google Ragnar Lothbrok. His wife,
Lagatha.
Oh my God. Lagatha.
Oh, is she hot? I never hear you hearing about women like you. Never talk like that, Gary. Hello, calm yourself. Do you need a moment?
Very easy on the eye. He's like,
are you talking about the man or the woman, or are you not bothered?
Well, Ragnar's easy on the eye too. He's a lovely Finnish gentleman.
You do love a bit of Finn too, don't you?
I love a bit of Finn.
All right. So let's get to the marathon.
I had zero stress for Swaledale, which was very unusual. I think the only stress was we got an email the day or two before saying if there was an amber weather warning.
Oh, yeah. This is what you told me. Yeah.
Then the race could be cancelled. Even when we were on the start line, if it did threaten to thunder, if all that rolled in during the race, then they're going to have to call it off. Luckily, Reef just dodged all of the terrible weather. I think you got a bout of it even a little bit further west.
It literally rained here the whole Saturday. It was
we did get a little bit of drizzle, but started off in the mist, and that was really good because it's been quite muggy and warm. But to have that mist for probably the top 20, I don't think you really experienced when the day warmed up a bit. 9th overall. Robbo predicted a top 10 finish. I was like, nah. I had in my head that I'd love to win the V50, but yeah, I came in 3rd. There is some speedy V50s out there. The guy who actually won it, I think he was 3:21, so a good 13 minutes ahead of me. So it wasn't even like, he's a few minutes ahead. On reflection, though, I think my watch held me back early on. I'm such a slave to the metrics. I was looking at my heart rate. When we do the first climb, I think it's onto Fremington Edge or Ridge, my heart rate was above what I was doing at, say, a London Marathon. So I kind of thought, well, this is not really sensible. I've going to be an extra half an hour, so I shouldn't really be going too high. And that's probably what I did, and maybe till about mile 11, I think on reflection, on a 23-mile race, when you've gone the first 11 too slow, you haven't really got enough time to claw it back.
Yeah.
But it did lead to a pretty comfortable day and a very pleasant and uplifting second half because you progressively going past people. So I saw somebody maybe about mile 11 and it coincided with, I caught a couple of people up. This guy was just drifting away from us into the mist. And I was chatting with one of the guys. He was telling me what his heart rate was. We were just chatting about stuff like that. And he was working a lot harder than me. So in my head, I thought, I need to break his heart. I need to really kind of bury him.
Really? Did you? I didn't think the Thwaites had this in him.
And then I saw the other guy drifting off into the distance. And even though I knew the course faithfully, I knew every inch of that course, he had a map in his hand. So I thought, he really knows the course. He's like,
no, Gary, after all these recce's.
But so what it did,
yourself.
it definitely, but it gave me like, he's someone to chase and I need to get rid of these 3 guys, I think it was. So I put a wiggle on to catch him up, and I did catch him up. I was in threshold pace, low threshold, that low zone 4. I felt totally fine doing that. So in a nutshell, I kind of kept doing that. We came to the checkpoint. He grazed on the smorgasbord of the whatever it was, cheese and pickle sandwiches, egg mayo sandwiches, real phenomenal spread. And me being such a sad case, I just jogged on through. Flow gel.
Did you just squirt it over everyone as you ran past?
So long, suckers!
Suck it and see.
And then I saw Martin Wilson. Now, we mentioned Martin Wilson. If anybody remembers my Lakeland 100 trauma, Martin.
Just look at the photo. There's you and Martin, the saddest men in the Lake District, with a Robbo holding you both together.
Yeah, goodness me, poor old Robbo. He had 2 broken runners that day. But also, fun times for Martin. He crushed the Winter Down 200. And he was champ, if I remember. He won outright
he
that
did.
race.
Yeah.
Beat some stout competition. So what I'm alluding to, I really respect Martin. And to see Martin within my sight, it really lit a fire at my arse to catch him up. But then I got a little bit nervous because I respect him so much. I stayed behind him for a little bit. I didn't want to make my move and then be running scared for the next 10 miles, whatever. But I just thought, go back yourself, Gary. So the trail opened up. I didn't want to go past him when it was single track. Went past him.
Did you talk to him? Did you say anything to him?
Oh, yeah, goodness me. We know each other well enough to have a chat with. Yeah, I chat with him on the start line and at the finish too. So with Durham Fell Runners, they won the team prize. So they did have a great day. Yeah, had a little chat. Then went past him. Didn't see him again. I went through that little section as going down to Gunnerside so well. I'm not too sure the exact timings, but I think I probably maybe put about 10 minutes into him over that last section of the course. And then you go into the Gunnerside checkpoints. Again, I'm not going in there enjoying the time in the checkpoint. I see people coming out as I go in, so I've got motivation to catch those 2 up. I was pleased that I didn't see Martin on that little out and back section, so I knew he wasn't.
Oh, the worst. I hate the out and back. The worst.
It's only
you were like, I've not dropped you. I've been working for an hour and a half and she was still right behind me.
Yeah, it was great not to see him.
Amazing.
And then, as you come out of Gunnerside, you really start a long climb. In my head, I recreate hills, maybe saying that I'm familiar with, say a hill in the Lake District, a hill of Castlean Dean, and I'll just say to myself, this is hill 4, this is hill 15, whatever it is. And I know I run these hills every day. I think there was one element because it was super steep. You drop down a sharp descent, go over a bridge and you climb again. I did walk that bit. But other than that, I ran every section. Run is a very loose term. But I think my biomechanics, if I go to a hike for my effort, speed isn't as efficient to many other people that say Robbo, Ray, a friend of mine too. They seem to be able to hike with a lot more comfort than me. While if I just go into this really super slow, shuffly jog, not much faster than a walk, I don't burn as much energy, and I do slowly make up time. So people might look at me thinking, who's that massive idiot running up that steep hill? But I actually think personally for me it works better like that. I did that at Lake 100 a couple of years ago when I had a decent run.
Don't you go back to your treadmill sessions as well? You feel like
100%.
I have spent, how much Mobland have you watched on the treadmill at 10%? It's a very comfortable. We've worked our biomechanics at that.
He's easy on the eye, wasn't he? Tom Hardy. I can watch Tom all day long. But that was exactly, you're right. Great point. I'm coming out of Gunnerside. I've done these, say, 45 minutes, 40 minutes uphill, up tempo. I knew that climb wasn't 40 minutes. And it was so uplifting. They were walking, I was running without really doing anything too drastic. I just started catching people up. And maybe that last 5 miles, I probably went past, not 5 miles, but
89 people, 90.
Yeah, but well, I was doing some like basic maths in my head. I completely had no idea where I was, but I just thought, okay, I'm in 20th. Then I went past those 3 people. Then I caught Martin up. Then I caught another 2 up. I didn't think for a second I was top 10, but I knew I was getting pretty close to that. We've all been there in races when you've in that last third and it's not gone well. To be in a good place at the last third of a race is phenomenal. You can, you go past somebody and then it sounds mean, but you want to break their heart. So you put a wiggle on.
Is this what you're going to do at Teen Trails Ultra?
That's exactly.
Just start the back.
Northern Traverse, Eddie. See ya.
Everybody. No, you won't. If I by any chance stretch the imagination at any point I'm ahead and you come past, I won't let you. I'll be like, Gary, no.
Oh, I'm not falling for that one. So it was nice having a very calm run in. The only thing is there wasn't somebody behind me visually. Not that I was looking over my shoulder, but I wasn't aware of anybody on my kind of shoulders.
Anyone as strong as you? Jeez.
There was nobody as strong as me.
There was nobody as strong as Ragnar.
So I wasn't really Ragnar Lothbrok. So I wasn't running scared, and there wasn't anybody really close enough for me to think I'm going to chase those guys. Because the miles, they're running down, so you've got to work so much harder to gain on somebody when there's 2 miles to go on a race. But all in all, yeah, a fantastic day. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. Great community. I would do it again in a heartbeat. A couple of people, including yourself, have mentioned, why is it called a marathon when it's not a marathon? I have no idea. It's interesting because I've never even thought of that, and I should really look back at the history of the event. I love it. I love the quirkiness of the fact that it's called a marathon and it's not a marathon. But it really just filled my cup. I saw people who listened to the podcast. Selfie. We did a selfie.
You did. I've not seen it. Are they having to go to HR through HR because of the hand placement?
Well, yeah, just totally as an event.
I'm only saying that because I was watching that guy from Strictly.
Did you see that?
And I'm just going to have to warn you before the ultra to go, you haven't watched Dallas Cowgirls. No, do you know what they do? When they go to retirement homes and places, the cowgirls in their short little shorts, but they give them a rugby ball to hold. Yeah. And then they say, as they go and taking the photos, hands on the ball, hands on the ball to the people so that they can't grope the girls. I'm going to have to do the same to you.
Oh, I can't believe you'd think that's... Made a little list of do's and don'ts, don't I?
People are going to be scared. This is pure jokes. Jokes.
That community event, it ticked everything for me. It was all done and dusted within a few hours. Yeah, had a blast. Thank you to everybody from Swaledale Marathon putting on another awesome event.
I've got a listener question for you, Gary.
Okay,
Kate Morn.
Yep.
She's keen to know, what's the worst? Some were hilarious. The more guys, the more hilarious, the more I love them. What's the worst food you've ever had at an aid station? I don't mean something you just don't like. I mean the weirdest, least appropriate food option you've come across.
I'm reluctant to share this again because...
From Anonymous.
Well, I can't. It's really obvious because I'm going to go back to this race in July. But in 2023, I nibbled on some cheesy flapjack in Braithwaite on the Lakeland 100. And I apologise for the kind soul who made that flapjack, but that did not go down well.
That's not a reflection on the race. It's a reflection on your stomach. Because I could probably eat a cheese flapjack right now, quite comfortably.
I don't know. I love cheese, I love flapjack, but not. But yeah, Braithwaite for me is the point when I puke on the Lake 100, so it's probably terrible timing.
Guys, if you're at the Braithwaite, just clear, if they're being served, clear them away when you see his dot approaching. This is the sort of service he's going to expect. I think for me, it was when I was doing Tot Dret. We got to the highest point of the course. I was so sick, Gary. I was so sick. I was lying on a chair. They put this heater by me and they put these things. They were like, she's not just like one of the, there were so many people being puking and everything. Then they were like, no, she's not one of those. This is bad. So then they took me into the back of the refuge, into this, into where all the staff were like having their meals and sleeping and everything. And they gave me 2 of the driest crackers ever known to man. Now I'd been being sick for about 5 hours, and then I had a really low like blood pressure and pulse. So they were trying to like get that back up. And I was like, I not feel the dry crackers on my fingers right now. But actually, so Bryn was like, are we going to get going? What are we doing? He was also really worried about me. And then so I was just sitting in this blanket with these 2 driest crackers, no moisture in my mouth. There was no moisture around. There was the language barrier, so there was no tea, obviously. I was like, oh my God, how many? Anyway, from the initial like, oh my God, why have you given me? It took me 2 hours, Gary, but those dry crackers, they sorted me out. They did sort me out. But
maybe it was the 2 hours. I don't know.
I think maybe it was the time, but it was like, why would you ever, even if I wasn't being sick, help yourself to the driest crackers known to man with nothing on? There's no spread. bread. There's no little hummus dip up the mountain. I think these European races, which I did a ton when we were in France, the checkpoints are just such a disappointment because you get there and there's questionable meat, probably with flies on it, nuts, cheese. Oh, their sports nutrition is weird, Gary.
Have they not heard of carbohydrates in Europe?
There's just like, there's never any, there's nearly always banana. So I just learned to go with banana and Coke. There was always banana, there's always Coke, there's always apricots. They go healthy considering how much crap they eat normally. And then they go to these checkpoints. You're like, where's all this stuff you give your kids? All these
why can't we have
sweets,
croissants and stuff like that?
No.
Valencia Marathon, actually, it was after the event, but in the goodie bag, they gave us some broccoli. I thought it maybe has been cooked or something so I could chomp on it. Raw broccoli.
Can you imagine if they did that at London Marathon? How much broccoli
a riot.
would be sprouting across? And what would you like to see? What would be your ultimate checkpoint snack?
It depends on the point of the race.
Yeah, let's say you're deep in the trenches.
Oh, deep in the trenches.
Yeah, you're deep in the trenches.
Watermelon seems to pull me around.
Watermelon is incredible, isn't it?
A nice soup, a pea soup would be good. I love pea soup. Early doors, anything, quiche.
Yeah.
Wet quiche.
Early doors.
Oh, wet quiche, incredible. With a soggy bottom.
You can eat all the quiche. Yeah, early doors, anything. Later on, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, tea. Yeah, soup, a sort of salty soup. That would be good. A sort of noodles.
I remember in Mardale having a slice of watermelon after hours of, this was 2023 Lakeland 100, after hours of feeling really sorry for myself. And it was the only thing that went down and didn't come back up. And it was just rejuvenation. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Watermelon is great. It looks like hard work when you're in a deep pain zone and you think, no, but it's got moisture as well. Get that chewing action go with, and it's so light. It's not hard to swallow. Guys, let us know. What have you had? Send us in. I'd love a bit of follow-up. What have you had at an aid station that maybe you've been surprised? You've had something and gone, I would never normally eat that, but it was incredible.
Gary's plans for the Lakeland 100 by Kevin Davey. After Swaledale, it's given me a lot of confidence at the kind of pace. A 23-mile race is not a 104-mile race.
Gary Thwaites this week that's come out.
Well, and we've just talked to somebody who didn't have a plan B. It was all A. So this has galvanised my mindset. Anyway, I've been privy to this spreadsheet or for the 2024 Lakeland 100 finishes. A takeaway from that year is if you reach Dalemain in over 12 and a half hours, then you are not going to do a sub 24 Lakeland 100. So I've got a negative emotion there because every time previously I've got to Dalemain in about just over 13 hours. And I love the stats and the data, but that data is leaning heavily against the fact that I can do it. But where I'm trying to pull a positive, the average pace for Swaledale Marathon, yes, it is a 23-mile race. It was 9.5 minute miling. To get to Dalemain in 12 and a half hours, I need to be going just under 13-minute miling so I can ease the pressure off by quite a lot. And then if you do make that, you've then got 11 and a half hours to do 40 odd miles. So you've got half the time again, pretty much, to do significantly less mileage. So I'm thinking I've just got to take a swing at it.
I think you've got to turn the heart rate monitor off and you've got to just go for it. You've got to just go for it.
What is like? I know I can finish. Or, you do need a bit of luck. You don't need to trip over anything and all that kind of stuff. Injury, illness, that's a kind of separate conversation to have. But every year I've done it, there's been issues with nausea, either DOMs, muscle issues. I think in my groin one year, I remember not really being able to climb out of Fusedale and watching Dougie's Innes drift off into the distance. So even with a certain level of adversity, I know I can get to the finish. It's arbitrary. If my time is 24 hours and 1 minute or 39 hours, it's academic really. So I think, Kevin, I've got to take my shot and just see what happens. If I can manage the nausea, I really do think I'm in with a chance. I'll have the energy to kind of propel me over that second.
I'm going to stand an ambleside as you run past with a bag of chips and a can of Coke.
Oh,
be there.
Evil.
Oh, sorry, Gary. Let me just swallow and then I'll be there. Love you, buddy.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for supporting Brew with the Coaches. Their website and newsletter are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read, and YouTube content to binge on. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. Swaledale Marathon fueled it with Precision Fuel and Hydration, their 30-gram gels and their drink mix. This week's question is from Anonymous. I think this will resonate well. Say I normalise the fact that everybody seems to do 100 milers, 200 milers, Northern Traverse. That's not for everybody, but for this listener, it is. Do I need to stop and eat meals in 100-mile plus races? I've done a lot of races lasting up to 16 hours, and my fuel plan is to always eat a gel every 20 to 30 minutes, plus sandwiches, crisps, rice pudding, etc. every 1 hour to top up the carbs. I never stop in checkpoints. I just refill my water, grab more food from my pockets, and go. I'm generally trying to go for a decent position or time rather than completing. This year I have a 100-mile race and a 140-miler uncrewed, and wonder if I need to change my strategy if I'm going to be running for 36 hours. Everyone else, even the front runners, seem to stop in checkpoints and sit down and eat hot food or a meal and then crack on. I kind of feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I've been naive. That's a great question, because I remember, why am I running past the checkpoint when Mark Derbyshire's having a sandwich? It's like, this guy's breaking records.
Yeah, I think if you were running past and you're doing a sandwich, you've got some.
But it is, we talked about this before we started recording, it's so varied for everybody, but definitely touching on my experience from the 13 Valleys, which did last 36 hours, I was very grateful. Sitting down, didn't necessarily have to be hot food, it just had to be real food. But apart from the fact this listener's moving along, it sounds like that strategy is pretty similar anyway. You're getting your gels and then you're taking a sandwich, crisps or rice pudding from the checkpoints. But yeah, what do you think, Eddie?
I would say, I'll touch on that bit in a bit, but I would say there's a huge difference between a 16-hour and then you know this from your 13 Valleys, and then we're moving into plus 20 hours on the effort that the output, your energy output, basically, the speed that you're moving is completely different. And so your energy needs are different. The way that you burn energy is going to be different. And so you will find your body doesn't want gels so much as you go on to these latter stages of the races. So you definitely would have to change it. The longer you go, the harder it gets. We all know this. See, we all we say, 8-10 hours I can feel sports nutrition. Then you need to start the simple sugars, gels, they work really well. And then your body starts looking for different things. Over 24 hours, you've got your sleep deprivation kicking in as well. And that really affects your appetite, your mood, your digestive system as well. So what worked when you maybe just through one night, then the second night, everything goes to pot. And that's when I think you find it hard to eat on the move as well. Let's address the question. So why would I want to sit and eat a meal when I haven't needed to before? I think one of the biggest things this is from personal experience, but also from coaching people doing these super long races, is when and Gary, you've been at the checkpoints. When you arrive at the checkpoints, your nervous system is absolutely spent, as well as everything else. You are really tired from being out by yourself, navigating, coping with the weather. You need that sort of parasympathetic system reset. So by sitting and allowing the body to digest a little bit of food, you almost reactivate that digestive system as well. You let the parasympathetic system work, calm everything down. Your tummy goes, okay, yeah, we're eating. I'm going to start moving. You might do a poo, because again, that's a tricky thing when you're going into, you just get everything flowing again. You don't need to sit for 3 hours, but 5-10 minutes and actually just sitting, eating, letting the brain rest, really important, rather than just going through. It's almost just a little bit of a stopgap as well. It gives you a chance to eat the real meals. How do you change it? Well, I wouldn't change the first. I would keep your sort of strategy that's working for your first. I'd break it up into day one, night one. Obviously, your night fueling is going to be different to your day fueling as well. It's a little bit harder to digest things. You might not feel as hungry. You might find it harder to eat. So you might think, I'm going to have some more fluid calories. If you've loaded the day as well, you might go, actually, don't need to eat as much during the day. So I think you want to break it down into during the day fueling. Day one fueling is going to be very different to day two fueling. Day two fueling is going to be different to day three fueling. But I think definitely you do want to be the person that rest and reset, let's call it, at the checkpoints and getting in some hot food and some energy in you. We've had a number of guests that have gone, and then I made the mistake and I didn't stop at the checkpoint. So I think using those checkpoints for something hot, that is both for calories, but also for a mental reset, is really important. And then I think once you passed 36 hours, I think your body does switch into super survival mode, and you'll be amazed. Your body does become a lean, mean racing machine, and you find that actually you can go go a long way, just sipping, nibble, nibble, sip, sip.
You've got to be flexible, haven't you, as well?
I think flexibility is the key to that. Having lots of options in your drop bag when you get there as well. Knowing the things that always work. I think crisps. Most people can snaffle a few crisps when things are getting a bit difficult.
Breados and Baby Bell. That was two things that never, ever entered my nutrition locker until a little trail angel offered them to me. Thank you, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and the Tales from the Trail section. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk, where you can also download your free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. Use the code T10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. First up in the Strava Club is Sarah Preston. 115.5 miles for the week, with the longest run of 100 miles and 13,310 feet. That's got to be the South Downs Way. Yeah. All the smiles. Great job, Sarah. Matt Rushbrook, 76.5 miles for the week, with the longest run of 66.8. And look at that vert, 28,235 feet. That maybe is one of the Pembrokeshire coastal races. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that is, but either way, oh my days, nearly 30,000 feet of vert. That is impressive. Rich Wilson, last up, 85.2 miles for the week, with the longest run of 30.6 miles and 15,328 feet of vert. All the trails for Rich this week. Lots of Lake District miles, Cumbrian Way 2. Just the best of weeks. Kudos to all our Strava Club members. Yeah, nearly 3,000 people rocking it over on Strava week after week after week. We've got a heavy flex.
Heavy flex, is it for me? Eddie, you're a legend.
Heavy flex. Hi, Gary. It's Dave, Chris's friend. I ran with you last year and I mentioned my partner, Jude Turnbull, was doing her first marathon. Well, she completed Edinburgh Marathon despite carrying a few niggles and despite the weather that came through. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember. I wasn't there, obviously, in Edinburgh, but I remember the forecast being absolutely shocking for that day. So, yeah, kudos to everybody who was on the start line. This gave her a taste and she has now entered the Hard Mowers 55 next year and is now on a mission. Oh my goodness, she's only gone and she's only gone and done it. She's popped open the cuppy jar. Kudos, Jude, because Tarmac Marathon with a niggle. That is
it's relentless, isn't it? Because if you've got a bit of a niggle on trail, if an Achilles or something could be like, a bit ouchy going up, and then you can be like, didn't hurt at all going down. Tarmac.
There's no change, Tarmac. Bash,
no
bash.
change. No.
That's incredible.
Right.
Well done.
What's
well done,
next,
Jude.
Jude's going to be on Northern Traverse start line. That escalated quickly.
Excellent. You can see with the goggles going up Crossfell. Tales from the Trails.
Dear Eddie and Gary, this March saw a significant birthday for me. 21, beginning with a 5 and ending in an O. 21, yeah. Not being a big fan of a party, I decided what I'd really like to do is go and run a marathon around Lake Coniston. Whilst on a weekend away on the Gower last April with the Hay Runner and her fabulous band of running women, I tentatively suggested this, expecting 3 or 4 to take me up on the offer. Roll forward 16 months, and to my surprise, 14 of us were up in Coniston ready to do the Lakeland Trails half or full marathon. Lakeland Trails run a massively inclusive event, and their marathon had 3 start times with 8, 7 and 6 hour cutoffs. I'm not a particularly fast runner and I'm normally somewhere in the middle, but I wanted to challenge myself, so entered the race with the 6 hour limit rather than one of the longer challenges. I was wavering up until the last minute as to which time to aim for, but a big birthday called for a big push. I knew it'd be tough and that I'd be at the back, but I was okay with that. Race day arrived and my marathon friends, all doing the challenges, had left. The half marathons had a later start. I walked up to the start on my own and gazed around nervously at the younger, fitter runners all around. What was I thinking? The race started, and as I expected, I was at the back, but comfortably within the cutoffs at 17k. 4k on, running completely on my own, with no other runners in sight. I took an almighty tumble over a rock and landed hard on my side. Ouchie, but I was still able to run, a bit more tentatively, but not as quickly. The scenery was beautiful, and I plodded on, running where I could, walking if I had to. I have never run so much of a race on my own. I was starting to worry about timing, so there was a lot of mental maths going on, trying to work out just how fast each kilometre needed to be. 6k from the end, I caught up with one of my friends who was doing the 8-hour challenge. She was injured, oh no, and in a lot of pain. She told me to go on, so I kept on, putting one foot in front of the other. Down to the last 3k, and the time was getting short. I had no idea if I was going to get in without the 6 hours. Kate, you could use a watch. There's a lot of jeopardy going on here. I'm nervous that we could have stopped this. I had volunteered the day before in registration and marshalling and one of the shortest races, so I knew that as long as I kept going, I'd be allowed to finish, but I really wanted to make that 6-hour cutoff. Rounding the last corner before the finish, I heard a "Come on, Kate," and one of my half-marathoning mates was standing waiting for me. As I entered the event base for the final lap of the field to the end, oh my goodness, the rest of my friends were all there to cheer me on to the sprint finish. Official time, 5:59:14. What a way to celebrate the big 5-0. This is the best bit of the whole story, Gary. And none other than Edwina Sutton jumped on my Strava to give me
kudos.
Too right I did, Kate. That is from Kate Platt. Firstly, happy birthday. Secondly, awesome work. Setting yourself a scary challenge on your birthday. How did you just gone for a nice run with mates on your birthday? So much of it on your own, and you carried on. And what incredible pacing. 5:59:14.
Kudos.
Amazing. Happy birthday and well done, Kate. This week's workout of the week is from our guest, Larry Morgan, a hilly fartlek. She chooses her local mountain. It is a mountain. It's about just 400 metres, I think, up the Garth Mountain near Cardiff. She goes up and down this using all sorts of different routes, different efforts, making it into a bit of a game. So this week's workout of the week, find your nearest hill. As many combinations up and down up it as you can get. Send me the picture of what it looks like on Strava.
Am I allowed to do, so Castle Eden Dean, there's lots of little hills?
I like that. I like that idea.
Change the hills.
Yeah, change the hills. Looking for about between 20 and an hour worth of effort, because it doesn't need to be all out, does it?
True. See what's on my planet, eh? Maybe I'll do the workout of the week. I like Joe's workout. Cruisy Joy miles.
Do that every day.
Love. Did you
write me this? This is what I get on my WhatsApps.
Every day.
I wish I did. I don't think you ever send me anything apart from business. There's no pleasure in our relationship.
Oh, I'm not having that. I've got to look through. Surely I've sent you some sweaty pictures.
Nothing, just business.
It's like my daughter. We had this conversation, actually. George, threw her under the bus. Do you ever get in touch with mum and dad unless it's like you actually want something?
Nothing. Big exams, big life moments. Yeah. How did it go?
Amazon password, all that kind of stuff.
Amazon password, Netflix
but they
password.
Did take me out for a Father's Day meal. I did nut roast. I was inspired by Bryn's nut roast for Christmas, so I went for nut roast. Oh
yeah, you've been nut roast. Did they pay for it? Or did you?
They did, but we were walking to the pub, and I'm like, hang on a minute, who's paying for this? They paid for it. Aww. I did the tip. They paid for the meal. Incredible. Aww. It was good. Anyway, love. Only just found this, and now I'm binge listening to all the back episodes. Love the banter, tips, and all the tricks and learning so much. 5 stars. Sarah Sunny Life over an Apple podcast.
Wonder what number she's up to.
I wonder if she's gone back to Run to the Hills. I'm not too sure if I could listen that far back.
I need to listen. I want to listen to When Gary Met Eddie.
Oh, that's going to be terrible, cringy content. I'm not doing that to myself. Thank you, Protein Rebel, for bringing us home. They brought me home, actually, Swaledale Marathon, 2 Protein Rebel caffeine gels. Woof.
Double shot.
Yeah, I think it's like 27 grams per gel, and then I think it's like 45 milligrams of caffeine. But I thought, last few miles of the race, sticking over 50 grams of carb, boomph, it worked a treat. Gentle on your stomach, driving your performance. Whether you're trying to get a PB, top 10 finish, or you're training for your first marathon, or completing your 10th ultra marathon Protein Rebels products are easy to digest with no artificial additives, providing both performance and overall health benefits. And shout out to the first ever Protein Rebel Running Festival being held on the 5th of July in Chester. There will be a 10k trail run followed by 2 hours of inspirational speakers, including Laura Swanton Ruvelin, Ben Bungle Taylor, Rhino Boy Chris, and more. There's also going to be a 2.5k fun run, mini athletics for kids, on-site cafe, a massage tent, and much more. What you got coming up?
Again, I've got to repeat, rinse and repeat, Gary. Rinse and repeat. Same old, same week as last week. I got my workout in early. Smug times. I know.
I've not done mine yet.
Well, just like the guy, I can't, because we've had such good guests the last couple of days, haven't we? I was like, I'm not going to want to do this after the couple of days we've had at the end of these. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to bank it early. I did what I really don't like, and I had to do it in the evening when the kids are back from school, because I like to heavily supervise the homework. I like to be present, I don't like to be like, I'm going off to do my session now. But it was the only time I had got to fit it in. Got it. Oh my God, I got a sweat on. Oh my God, did I work hard? And when I came in, they'd given up because I hadn't made tea yet. They got so hungry. They hadn't bothered to come out and say, can we have tea? So they'd made their own tea.
Oh, come on, hit me.
And
what was it?
Ham and cheese sandwich. Okay, that's a good start.
Yeah.
A Baby Bell. Oh, it's quite a lot of
double cheese.
Double cheese. Some chocolate cornflakey bits that I don't know where they're from.
Dessert covered.
Some sort of like, that must be from a tin. Well, you probably don't, because you don't have the young kids at home, but we have like the biscuit tin. They must have been in there, I think maybe Christmas. Anyway, they had that. Some blueberries and crisp chasers. And they were sitting watching Messi's 100 Best Goals.
Sounds perfect, mate.
I was like, you poor kids. And I was like, you've done quite well there. Maybe you don't need me anymore. My work here is done. You've covered all the major food groups.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that.
And then they had Magnum Chasers.
Oh,
Magnum Chasers.
God, what a meal.
I didn't then offer the leftover birthday cake. I thought, I think we're done with the...
It's enough's enough.
Too much
of
the
a
sugar
good thing.
I've got to keep focused when there are little bits of like, you could rest, Eddie, and not do this run. I've just been like, yes, we haven't got quite as much mad weekend, so that does give me a day where I can. I'd love to get out on the West Highland Way, which is happening this week, and I was trying to work out, like, because it starts at 1:00 in the morning, so that people can do the lockside in the daylight, because it's quite often where people hurt themselves. So the safety team also, if they need to get into people on the lockside, the only way they can get in, I learnt all this from lovely Dr. Rebecca, because she's head of the safety for West Highland Way, doc medic team. Sorry, I've butchered what you actually do. But the only way they can get in to get people off the lockside is by a motorboat, speedboat. So that's why they do that, so that people, and I said, do people injure, and she's like, yeah, people really, they're racing, they hit their heads. There's quite a lot of low branches, so they didn't want people there in the dark. So that's why I do it. So I was trying to work out like where friends would be. So if I could plan my long run, which way would be the best way. So, fingers crossed I might be able to do that on Sunday. But like you, I've got a brooch. Then it means I'm away the whole day. And then we're away all next weekend. I'm not sure that one will wash.
It's tough, isn't it? The juggle.
It's tough at the top and won't complain. What about you? Bit of recovery? Do you feel tired or do you feel okay?
I feel okay. No DOMs, which is nice. Some of those descents are not super steep, but there's a long time where you're kind of hammering your quads. Yeah, no real recovery because of the way the time is and the days. Might do my workout tomorrow. I'll go do some cruisy miles later if I could, because I'm doing these double days. I've got the luxury, Eddie, of having a day off if I want to, because you're doing 2 20-mile days. You're still going to do huge volumes. So maybe I will treat myself to a day off. We will see. Weekend, though, I am aiming for the lakes again or some trails. And also on Sunday with the folk from Sedgefield Harriers, they're doing this. I think it's like I can't remember even how many, but so many churches around Sedgefield. We're going to visit the church, and I'm pretty sure there's cake involved in every church. So a lovely social run, but not a lot of it on Sunday. I think the total distance is about 20 miles. Cruisy, nice miles. So if I do some graft on Saturday, then Sunday will look after itself. Looking forward to it.
Ooh, did you make it through to the end? You still running? I love the same podcast for a long run, and I'm just like, God, I've been listening. How many miles do you reckon people have run while they've been listening to this one? We've been going for almost 2 hours. Ooh, some of you may have crushed a half marathon.
Unsubscribed.
Never. They'll be back. They'll be going down back catalogue for their next few episodes. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. Share the episode, like, subscribe. Hey guys, we're having to send in numbers to sponsors. Show us your statistics. We've had a few emails, haven't we? We need to send your statistics to HR.
It's a big flex though, Eddie, to be honest.
We're not. We love them. You reply to those. You're like, here we go. Here's my. Did you want my vital stats or the podcast vital stats? But here's both of them and some pictures. But yeah, if you could like, share, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. I always hear people on podcasts that I listen to saying that, and I don't know how. I don't know. Do I do that? If you follow, then you get it in your inbox, don't you?
Yes.
That's the best way. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or even consider, just have a little think about it, becoming an awesome Patreon. I did a few months ago and I've not looked back. It's changed my life. Thanks to X Miles, Precision Full Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Harrier Trail Running, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show. Here's some discount codes just for you guys. T10 2025 for Shocks, T15 for Protein Rebel, T-Time 2025 for Precision Full Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thank you to our partners and Patreons too. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recceing, solo miles or miles with mates. Yes, you mentioned West Highland Way Race. Oh, a race close to my heart. Durham Dales Challenge, Ultra Wales, and loads of other events too. Whatever you're doing, let the trail rise to meet you and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self, breathe and believe, and roll with the joy, and the miles will look after themselves. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast.